All right, so the SEC announced it will implement a nine-game football schedule beginning in 2026. SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey had this to say about it. Adding a ninth SEC game underscores our university's commitment to delivering the most competitive football schedule in the nation. This format protects rivalries, increases competitive balance, and paired with our requirement to play an additional power opponent, it ensures SEC teams are well prepared to compete and succeed in the college football playoff. How do we think? What do we think about that? Is it a good decision? Is it long overdue? Is it like caving to pressure? What do y'all think?
I think it's definitely caving to pressure because every other conference makes fun of us and says that we schedule cupcakes. And the reason that we have all these wins is because we don't play anybody, which, okay. But joke's on you, we're scheduling your conference. Fine. The thing is, I think I'm not mad about it. You can cave to pressure and it's fine. It will hopefully shut up the naysayers. It will allow us, like it did in 2020, to truly just figure out who is the best because we don't have to guess as much. So it allows that. And I think it's really fun as a fan. And if you're a student, and maybe if you're a player, to actually get to play more games against conference rivals, because at the end of the day, if you're in conference, you're almost a rival. Like we feel it when it's in conference. And I think it will give students the opportunity to travel to more stadiums, which is a really exciting thing. If you can travel on a $10 student ticket, you might as well while you can, because you're never going to get one at that price
Ever.
ever.
Hmm.
And it will allow the student athletes to truly learn more, play more, and test themselves. I think it's a great test for the guys out there, and it's a really good test for the coaches. You can no longer say, well, if so and so was coaching against so and so, then it'd be completely different, but we'll never know because they don't get to play each other. They might get to play each other now.
Yeah, very true. Matt, what do you think?
I've always been a big fan of the idea of you get one tune-up game and then the rest of your games are conference games. I don't know why we play as many as we do. I know it's revenue generation. It is what it is. Um, but I don't see this as a bad thing. I think you let the SEC beat itself up. Whoever comes out on top is the biggest, baddest kid on the block, and then they can do what they need to in the playoff. Now that has not worked out to our advantage last year but with that buzzsaw that was Ohio State. But that doesn't negate the fact that I think this isn't the worst decision. I like the idea of playing more SEC games. I am a little concerned about what this is going to do for not the rivalries, but some rivalries. Like, for example, with the way I saw a couple articles that said, and I'm just picking Tennessee because that's what I pay attention to. They said that the three permanent opponents for Tennessee were going to be Vanderbilt, Alabama, and Kentucky, which eliminates Florida, which eliminates Georgia. And those are big rivalry games. I know they're not so much from the Georgia perspective, but they definitely are for Tennessee fans, especially for this Tennessee fan, because I hate Georgia. So I'm a little concerned about what that's going to look like. I much kind of prefer the East versus West thing, but I'm a bit of a purist. I still think we need 12 teams, and that should be the top. But I'm not getting into that debate right now.
Go back to the old SEC teams.
Well, if you wanted to get really technical about it, you could go back to having 10 teams and call it a day. But that's not never going to happen. So, is it a bad thing? No. Is it caving to pressure from other conferences? Probably. But at the end of the day, it's all about who's going to be the biggest, baddest kid on the block. And the other conferences have been chomping the bit to see us tear each other apart. So, let's give them what they want.
Yeah, I think it's caving to pressure, maybe not necessarily just from other conferences, but even like media pundits, because you're under the microscope for everything nowadays, especially with the way the game is now, and with all the money that's involved in it and all that stuff too. So I do think I think it could be both. I think it's caving to pressure, but I also think it's the right thing to do because you want to showcase to the world that you are the best conference. It's really hard to do that when I hate to say it, but you're right. I mean, we had a ton of cupcake opponents And I get their beef with us from that standpoint. Now, will I say that the other games that we played are tougher than what a lot of them will play? Yeah, I think that's also true. But then we also scheduled some cupcakes in there as well.
So does the Big Ten and everybody else. I mean, look at Ohio State. Hold on, let me pull up Ohio State's thing real quick, because
But
and I'm gonna and you Ohio
this is
State fans can come at me. Look, we got our butt kicking last year. I'm fine with it. It is what
op-
it is. But
open your
look at this.
DMs and take your
Look,
beatings like a
yeah,
man.
take your beatings like a man. I'm about to take my beating like a man. Listen to what's on the schedule. They have Grambling in week 2.
Yeah, it
They
is
have
true. A lot of them do
Ohio
it
in
too.
week 3. They got Washington in week 4, and then they get into conference play. But
Yeah.
their conference schedules: Illinois, Wisconsin. They do have to pay Penn State,
Yeah.
Purdue, UCLA. Come on,
That's my thing is like I would say that
chill
our
out.
conference schedule is
It's
tougher.
Rutgers. If Rutgers is on that schedule, I don't want to hear anything from them.
Right. But then I guess if this is the case, then you're just taking all of that off the table and you're saying, look, you don't have any room to complain anymore because we're going to do this. And then I do like the extra game because it protects rivalries. To your point, Matt, there's concern with those rivalries going away. Now you have an extra SEC opponent, so you can maybe try to preserve some of those. So and then they have the additional requirement to play an additional Power 4 opponent. So I think this will help the SEC stand kind of head and shoulders in terms of strength of schedule above everyone else. So we'll see how
I
that
almost
pans out,
feel
though.
to play devil's advocate for a second. I feel like strength of schedule doesn't matter near as much anymore, especially for the top tier of the SEC. As long as you're winning the conference or playing for the conference championship, you're getting into an expanded playoff field. Like
The
you're
expanded
getting
playoff
in.
does help.
The only team that's going to have to worry is the team that lost 2 or 3 SEC games. Then you have to worry about strength of schedule.
Right.
So,
And then it's the eye tests and you get in
oh
you get into
Lord,
all that
then
mess of
the eye
and
test
it's
is just a mess to
and
begin with.
everyone's eye test is different, but in their own mind the eye test is consistent. And I'm like, no,
No,
it's
no,
not.
no.
You're not being objective, but I digress. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's probably the best thing to do in order to stay competitive